Is there a connection between China and the Biden classified documents? About Hunter Biden's business dealings in China and Father Joe's knowledge and financial benefit, here's what Tony Bobulinski, Hunter Biden's former business partner, said.
In late 2015, I was approached by James Gilliar, whom I had known for many years, about joining him in a deal which he said would involve the Chinese state-owned enterprise CEFC China Energy and what he called one of the most prominent families in the United States. I was informed first by Gilliar and then by Hunter Biden and by Rob Walker, who was working with the Bidens, that the Bidens wanted to form a new entity with CFC, which was to invest in infrastructure, real estate, and technology in the U.S. and around the world. And the entity would initially be capitalized with $10 million and then grow to billions of dollars of investment capital. After months of discussion, I agreed at Gilliar and Hunter Biden's request to become CEO of the entity to be called Sinohawk. Sino representing the Chinese side, Hawk representing Hunter Biden's brother Bo's favorite animal. And between February and May 2017, we exchanged numerous emails, documents, and WhatsApp messages concerning Sinohawk and its potential business. On May 2nd, 2017, the night before Joe Biden was to appear at the Milken Conference, I was introduced to Joe Biden by Jim Biden and Hunter Biden. At my approximately hour-long meeting with Joe that night, we discussed the Biden's history, the Biden's family business plans with the Chinese, with which he was plainly familiar, at least at a high level. After that meeting, I had numerous communications with Hunter, Walker, Gilliar, and Jim Biden regarding the allocation of the equity ownership of Sinohawk. On May 13, 2017, I received an email concerning allocation of equity, which says 10% held by H for the big guy. In that email, there's no question that H stands for Hunter, big guy for his father, Joe Biden, and Jim for Jim Biden. In fact, Hunter often referred to his father as the big guy or my chairman. On numerous occasions, it was made clear to me that Joe Biden's involvement was not to be mentioned in writing, but only face-to-face. In fact, I was advised by Gilliar and Walker that Hunter and Jim Biden were paranoid about keeping Joe Biden's involvement secret.
And the White House press secretary says she's done answering questions about the Biden classified documents.
Guys, you guys can ask me this 100 times, 200 times if you wish. I'm going to keep saying the same thing. I hear your question. It's been asked, it's been answered, it's been noted, and we're just going to try to move on here, and we're going to move on.
What's that? The great Eldersky is holding a pair of MYPILLOW slippers, and you can have a pair yourself. All you have to do is call the number on your screen or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code ELDER, and guess what? Mike Lindell has over 100 sleep-related products on his website. So check them all out. Then, of course, don't forget the MyPillow, the granddaddy of them all. This is the product that started everything. It is still the top product. Go to MyPillow.com. Did I mention promo code ELDER? Or call the number on your screen. Also comes in different sizes. And then, of course, you have the six-pack, MyPillow six-pack. It says towels that work, because Mike found that a lot of towels in the stores look good, feel good, maybe even smell good, but they don't absorb the water, which is the whole point. So these are towels that actually work. Again, go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER, or call the number on your screen. Finally, this is the Giza Dream bedsheet. Giza is in Egypt, where the finest cotton is grown. I know this because Mike went around the world to find it. And they come in different colors, they come in different sizes because beds come in different sizes. I guess they come in different colors too. Mine is white because after all, I am the, wait for it, black face of white supremacy, but you're not. So if you want your own Giza Dream bedsheet and you're gonna have an amazing time sleeping on these puppies, call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. Joining me to help sort all this out is the lead counsel for the National Legal and Policy Center Paul Kamenar. Mr. Kamenar, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Larry. I appreciate it myself.
Now, Paul, we don't know what's in the documents. We haven't seen them yet. But what is your suspicion about those documents and Joe Biden's connection to China?
Well, we don't know what's in the documents. We have heard that they involve Iran, the UK, and Ukraine. There may be China documents in there as well. Who knows? But what's really troubling, Larry, is that the White House has been covering up the whole scenario of how these documents came to be discovered and how they were handled. Originally, they sent over a private attorney to the Biden Center here in Washington, D.C. On November 2nd to clean out Joe Biden's office there. Well, no one's asked the question, and I'm sure the press secretary won't answer it. Why did Joe Biden wait almost 2 years after he became president to decide, oh, I need to clear out my office at the Biden Center? That remains a mystery. And once the attorney got there, they discovered some classified documents. And from there, the whole thing went south in terms of how they handled it. They claim they turned it over to the National Archives. They didn't read it because the attorney wasn't even cleared to look at classified information. And then weeks later, they go to his home in Wilmington, Delaware, and start rummaging through the garage. And lo and behold, there's another 10 documents or so. And what's really weird is that if the attorney at D.C. didn't have clearance to look at any classified documents, why did he go to Wilmington without someone that was classified? They did contact the White House counsel. Apparently, some FBI agents came over. It's unclear. The FBI, it was reported in the Wall Street Journal today that they did not want to get involved because, quote unquote, they didn't want to compromise the investigation that was going on by the private attorneys.
Right.
Well, that seems strange. And this is evidence of a crime scene, and you handle evidence very carefully by putting them in plastic bags, tagging them, having a chain of custody. My God, Larry, this is all a contaminated crime scene. Everybody's fingerprints are on these documents. Maybe Joe Biden's fingerprints were wiped off. We don't know. This is really a hot mess, and we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Also, Paul, this happened right after the midterms, where the House is going to investigate why Mar-a-Lago happened and why Donald Trump was treated the way he was treated. My suspicion is the Democrats felt that the way Joe Biden handled these documents would come out, and they want to get ahead of the story.
Well, I think that's partly true, but they really did a bad job of getting ahead of the story, because each time something else comes out in a drip, I mean, they're guilty of political malpractice, because once they came out with what was going on, then the next day we find out there's more documents that we didn't know about. Then Merrick Garland appoints a special counsel. They say they're handling this all by the book, but
Right.
yet, it's really a big mess here. I can't believe it.
Paul, Garland had no choice but to appoint a special counsel, given the way he treated Donald Trump. He had no choice.
That's correct. I agree. And now that he's appointed a special counsel for Biden, I can't see them prosecuting Donald Trump
Right.
and not prosecuting Joe Biden. Now, they may say, well, Joe Biden's president. We have a policy not to indict a sitting president. But there's also people who handle these documents that could be indicted. And
Right.
there is a big difference here. So it really is a hypocrisy how they're handling these two
Right.
inquiries.
I agree with your analysis. Donald Trump's off the hook. There's no way they're going to indict Donald Trump unless they indict Joe Biden. They're not going to indict Joe Biden. Therefore, they're not going to indict Donald Trump. Let's talk about the Bidens and their Chinese connection. The Biden Center. How much money have they gotten anonymously from the Chinese? And who are these Chinese contributors? We're talking about the CCP?
Right. We're talking about donations that came from China, both individuals as well as companies that are affiliated with the CCP, some $80 million to the University of Pennsylvania. Now, of that, their database that we uncovered with the reporting with the Department of Education, which they have to report, there's some $22 million of that that's marked as anonymous from China. We don't know. Now the question is, well, how much of that money is going to the Biden Center? The spokesperson for the University of Pennsylvania said, "Oh, well, we don't solicit money from China to the Biden Center." Well, wait a minute. China's not giving money to the University of Pennsylvania for the music department. Come on. It's going to their foreign programs, of which the Biden Center is one of the top ones they have. So we need to have an investigation. And just yesterday, James Comer, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, sent a letter to the president of the University of Pennsylvania asking for all communications between University of Pennsylvania and China, all donations that came in, were any earmarked. I mean, they're going to get to the bottom of this. And you have also Hunter Biden in there, as we heard at the top of the clip here from Bob Walensky, where Hunter Biden was getting money from this Chinese energy company. So the National Legal and Policy Center has a complaint we filed 2 years ago that both Hunter Biden and the Biden Center should be prosecuted by the Justice Department for violating the Foreign Agents Registration Act for not listing themselves as an agent of China. So this is something, Larry, that also the House Oversight Committee will get into, and hopefully we'll get to the bottom of that, not only with that investigation, but by the National Legal Policy Center. We have several Freedom of Information Act requests pending with the Justice Department and so forth. So we're going to find this out in the next few months.
Now, Paul, was Biden getting a salary for his classes that he taught, as few as they were, at Penn, and also a salary from the Biden Penn Center?
Boy, was he getting a salary from the University of Pennsylvania? He got over $900,000 for, over a period of 2 years for a half dozen lectures and public appearances. I mean, that's more than twice what tenured professors with a full caseload were getting. So it was clear that he was basically being paid for an appearance and for his connections with China. We're not sure how much he was getting from the Biden Center. Again, the Biden's University of Pennsylvania won't disclose that, but that's going to be determined by the Oversight Committee by James Comer, because part of his request is to find out the salary that's going to all the people there, not only Joe Biden, but who was the managing director of the Biden Center? Tony Blinken, our Secretary of State. And who's our ambassador to Germany now? Amy Gutmann, the president of the University of Pennsylvania. Who's our ambassador to Canada? David Cohen, who's chairman of the board of trustees of the University of Pennsylvania. So, this is just unbelievable, the kind of corruption that we're seeing here, Larry.
Paul, there's no question, is there, that Joe Biden is the big guy and that his and Hunter's funds were commingled?
Oh, yeah, that's no doubt there. And so they have to report that, at least Joe Biden, in terms of his financial disclosure forms, he has to report that. So there's a question whether he fully reported that. So there's a lot of investigation to be done, not only by Comer's Oversight Committee, but there's also a joint committee or a special committee on China influence. And so they're going to have another committee look at that, even Senator Mark Warner from Virginia is interested in this kind of foreign influence on the University of Pennsylvania, as well as other universities. A lot of money from China coming into our universities, Harvard, Yale, and so forth.
Paul, Hunter Biden is staying at the Delaware House. The most expensive rental property in the whole state is $6,000 a month. He's paying his father $50,000 a month. Explain that.
Well, it's hard to explain that because what's going on here is obviously that's not rent, but that's part of the payoff of the 10% to the big guy. So again, we're going to go see what's happening here. But the way they handled this whole thing is a really travesty. The way they handled the classified documents, I just can't believe how amateur hour we got going here. And these guys are supposed to be the experts on this. And I'm not surprised that the press secretary is ducking all these questions. But we're going to get to the bottom of this, Larry, in a few months, and the American people will know the answers unless they, stonewall the investigation.
Well, won't they do that? Aren't they going to say, well, this thing is under investigation. We can't turn over the documents. Otherwise, it'll compromise our investigation?
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen here. And I hope that the House Oversight Committee doesn't fall for that excuse. Now, the point is that those questions with respect to the classified documents could be compartmentalized, and that could be one thing. But then the China influence and money sources can be another inquiry that they could say, well, wait a minute, special counsel, you're not looking at that. So we can certainly go investigate, have Hunter Biden testify, have Bob Alinsky testify, have the University of Pennsylvania people testify, the Biden Center people testify. So I don't think that excuse will go far.
Finally, Paul, we've got a special counsel over the Trump documents, special counsel over the Biden documents, no special counsel over Hunter and Joe and his brother regarding the laptop, regarding the overseas business dealings, no special counsel there.
Yeah, that's a real travesty as well. They have a regular U.S. attorney in Delaware looking at Hunter Biden, and right now he's being investigated for tax evasion, as well as hopefully this Foreign Agents Registration Act violation. Now, the latest thing, well, not that late, but several months ago, a Hollywood attorney gave Hunter Biden $2 million and said, hey, this is for your back taxes. So what I think is going to come down, Larry, is that they're going to probably cut a plea deal with Hunter Biden. He pleads guilty to some tax charge and says, well, look, I repaid it with this Hollywood money, and just give me probation, slap on the wrist, community service. But again, we have to get into this whole foreign corruption part of the deal that needs to be fully investigated.
Well, Paul, before you go, respond to the assertion that, well, Hunter Biden only has a fraction of the documents that Donald Trump had, and Hunter Biden voluntarily turned them over. His lawyers found them and did the right thing, whereas Donald Trump resisted turning over the documents. Therefore, the two cases are entirely different. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think that's a distinction without a difference. I mean, the legal issue is basically the same in both cases. It doesn't matter whether it's 10 or 20 documents or a couple hundred documents. The other point is that Donald Trump invited the inspectors to come in. He told his attorneys, have them go through everything, give them whatever they want. They just looked it over. They also said, just put a lock on the storage room there. Moreover, President Trump could declassify any of these documents, whereas Joe Biden, his vice president, could not declassify. So I don't think there's much difference between the two. What is difference is that they're treating Joe Biden with kid gloves in the way that they're handling the investigation and going forcefully against Donald Trump.
Paul Kamenar, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Well, it is time. Can you feel the tension? It is now time for our giveaway. We're giving away 5 of these Larry Elder mugs. Who wouldn't want a Larry Elder mug? Let's announce the winners. Jennifer Goins, Cheryl Radamil, Gloria Pellet or Pillow, James Lockwood, and Dawn Roth. I want to thank all of you for participating, and if you didn't win, don't feel bad. We're going to have more giveaways down the road, so stay tuned to The Larry Elder Show, which you can find on LarryWithEpoch.com. That's EPOCH, LarryWithEpoch.com. I'm Larry Elder. This has been The Larry Elder Show for Epoch Times. And remember, we've got a country to save. I'll see you next time.